Hello and welcome. My name is Simone Fernau, and today we will be talking about the negative effects of television on adolescents. Every American home has a deadly machine in their very own living room, also known as a television. These televisions are very powerful machines that influence us immensely. They are used to entertain us, to inform us, and ultimately brainwash us. And we need to do something about it. A study by the American Heart Association shows that 60% of teens spend 20 hours a week of screen time. A third spends closer to 40 hours, and 7% spend more than 50 hours a week of screen time. This is insane. A study by the National Center of Biotechnology Information shows the negative effects of television on adolescents. Obesity goes up because they sit there and they just eat. Violence goes up because they see it on TV and they want to recreate it. Suicide goes up. Learning problems occur. They don't know how to vocalize and speak to people. They don't go out and play. They don't live life of children. One story in particular is a story of Ronnie Zamora. In 1977, he shot an 83-year-old Eleanor Haggard on her Miami Beach home during a robbery. The boy's unsuccessful lawyer argued that the violent television show Kojak told him that he could murder because he wanted to be like his favorite character. Basically, his idea of murdering and his excuse for it was TV intoxication. This shows the immense power of TV and how it can affect people negatively. Also, the Center on Alcohol Marketing and the Youth, also known as CAMI, at Georgetown University, found in 2003 the top 15 primetime programs most popular with teenagers and preteens had alcohol ads in it. How are people that are not legally allowed to drink going to see ads about alcohol, drugs, sex, violent? You can't have these and teach kids these because they will retain it and they will go out in the world and do it. This is a TV rating. It shows the audience, it indicates the audience for which a television program is appropriate for. This is the content label. It indicates what the show contains, such as higher levels of violence, sex, adult language, or suggestive dialogue. I feel as if a lot of problems would be solved if people stuck to their ratings and did not go above it. Ultimately, we need to do something about this. We need to follow these guidelines. There's also two other ways that we can prevent these negative effects on people. The American Academy of Pediatrics suggests a possible screen-free room, which is basically a room with no TV, no computers, no sources of media coming in. It's just you and your family. You can play board games, or you can read a book, or you can do something that is positive instead of negative. Also, you could possibly just hang out with your family and learn morals and values from them instead of going to the TV and learning from it there. Unfortunately, this is a blame game. We blame the TV for all that we have learned, but this is what the Center of Media Literacy says. Here's how the circle of blame works. Viewers blame those who write and create the shows. Writers and directors say the producers require violence in programs in order to get them financed. Producers blame the network executives for demanding action in order to get ratings. Then executive network producers say its competition is brutal, and they blame advertisers for pulling out unless the show gets high ratings. And then the advertisers, in return, blame the viewers. It's all about money, and it's all a circle. And we need to break the chain. We need to speak up, and we need to change this. One very great act that has come into play in 1990 was the Children's Television Act, which was ruled by the Federal Communications Commission in the United States, which is designated to increase the amount of educational children's programs on television. It was created by Miss Peggy Charon. Basically, this requires that there is at least a 30-minute educational program a night that will teach kids the alphabet or more about math or history or something positive and educational instead of the negative side effects of drugs, alcohol, abuse, rape, anything of that nature. This is Miss Peggy giving her speech. So, in conclusion, we need to change it, and we need to change the programs that our children watch, because they're the next generation. And if we don't change it now, who knows what the future will hold. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yes. Can you tell us, hasn't media always been an influence on children? I mean, is this a relatively new problem?
It has always been an influence on children, but in the recent decades, it has increased in negativity. For example, in All of the Family, it was the first time that there was a bottom, which was considered a private part, ever on television. It was a baby that was getting its diaper changed, and that was crazy back in the day. Now we have people that will walk around shirtless, and we have the backside view of women, even the front side view. We have people getting murdered, people getting raped, people committing suicide. We have blood and gore. It's insane. And like I said, back in the day, the Brady Bunch was, the mother and father were not even allowed to sleep in the same bed. And now you see sex on TV. So it is getting worse. Instead of progressing to teach people good morals and values, it is teaching them negative things. So, any other ones?
But is this just a case for television? But wouldn't this also be prevalent in other kinds of media as well?
Yes. There's also video games, which are incredibly violent, such as Call of Duty, which is an army game. And the premise is to shoot and kill people. And that's murder. That's one of the ultimate crimes you can commit. And it's teaching kids, oh, I got bonus points because I killed somebody. It's rewarding them for committing the ultimate crime. It's also in newspapers, cellular devices, anything of that nature. And it's something that we need to change. And we need to speak up and say, we do not want to influence our kids negatively. We want to make them positive role models for the future so we can have a positive and bright future ahead of us. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.